every trader searches for their own path of making boundless fortunes. In this pursuit, they often find themselves torn between taking huge risks and exercising patience. Some choose the latter, dedicating themselves to unwavering patience, holding shares for over 2 decades and turning just $77 into $330,000. Yet there is only one who dares to take immense risks, who has the power to wield 0-day sale expiry options and make massive gains. He has already made $18 million in just 2 months and $2.5 million in just a day. But now he's back with a record-breaking gain of $4.5 million in a single day. And it is my honor to present to you the one and only Fausterian18, who is a month after making $2.5 million in a day, finally back with even crazier gains. His return starts with a 2000% or an $800,000 gain on Dell weeklies. More specifically, he bought about $44,000 worth of Dell call options with a strike price at $155 as he was betting the stock would move with Nvidia earnings beat. And with Nvidia jumping up by 12% in the following 2 days, it pulled Dell up by 8%, which is why he closed the position near the top. Betting on the same earnings, he also bought about $500,000 worth of Nvidia calls, making him a $1.6 million gain and bringing his position to more than $2 million. But why didn't he just go all in on Nvidia, since this was the stock he was actually betting on? Well, options on related stocks with smaller market caps can often generate better returns than the company reporting earnings itself, although now he wishes he had swapped those position sizes around. Having that said, he decided to not close his Nvidia position and continue holding for another week. Now, it might surprise you that his overall win rate is just about 33% since switching to a new broker 2 months ago, and here's how he's done in his trading account. The violent spike at the beginning was him moving most of the funds to a different dividend account, and in the past 3 months he's up by more than $4 million, with his trading account being worth more than $12 million, although he's currently only trading with a working capital of about $2 to $3 million. The dotted line is what he's moved to the account, and everything above or below is his gain or loss. Overall, he was up about $25 million this year, with most of his gains on interactive brokers, which we have already covered in one of the previous videos. Since then, he drastically reduced his trading sizes and moved most of the funds into longer term investments. Now, if you paid close attention, you'd notice that I said he was up by about $25 million this year, and that's because he decided to hold that Nvidia position for another week. Not only that, but he also bought about $180,000 worth of the Nasdaq 0-day sale expiry calls, which he turned into $1,470,000. That plus his Nvidia call spread made him $2.5 million in just a day. Now, what if I told you that wasn't even his largest gain? No, to make a true record-breaking gain, you have to dig deep in yourself to find the courage to continue when all odds are stacked against you. And that's exactly what he did. A 1400% or a $4.5 million gain with the absolutely riskiest strategy in the market. 0-day sale expiry options. Needless to say, he made a new personal record. And he did that by buying Nasdaq 0-day sale expiry options with different strike prices, which are just a part of his bull call spread, and you can learn more about that by watching the video I'll leave at the end of this one. Now, you see at one point he was actually down by $1 million on the day due to his Dell position plus buying the 0-day sale expiry options too early. Luckily though, with sheer will, he turned his loss into a gain, ending the day up by $4 million. I do have to point out that he is not perfect and still makes losses. His worst unrealized loss was $2 million and his worst actual loss was around $500,000. But you don't always have to play with so much risk to still make huge gains. Sometimes a bit of patience is enough. One such trader goes by the name of Tommy Smooth 10, and he bought about 482 shares of Nvidia at an average buying price of just $53.35. So yeah, quite a long time ago. And with the stock now trading at about $1,200, he turned his starting position position of just $26,000 into more than $500,000. You see, he started investing in Nvidia in 2015 because of a CNN article saying it was the next big thing. He then added to the investment over time with small holiday bonuses, thinking it might be the time to transfer to a real broker, but also not sure if that's bad juju since the entire ride so far has been on Robinhood. And despite holding for such a long time, he did sell some periodically for different purchases. He'll probably hold the rest until he buys a house in 2 to 3 years, and if it could get to a 7-figure position before then, he'd be one very happy camper. Now you know how you should have been buying real estate in 2008 while you were in school, or maybe tech stocks more than 2 decades ago while you were in diapers. Well, a trader who goes by the name of Humble Supernova did just that. He's been holding these bad boys since 2002. Yes, in 2002 he spent just $77.43 for about 280 shares of Nvidia while it was trading at just $1.34. And 22 years later his $77.43 turned into $330,554.74, making him a completely unbelievable 426,000% or a $330,000 gain. You see, at the time he was also in elementary school, but his mom asked them what were they putting into a computer they were building, and they said Nvidia. So she bought some and diamond handed it this entire time. And aside from Nvidia, she apparently also held Apple, McDonald's and more stocks. And if that wasn't good enough, she has even more Nvidia shares, but the vast majority are in an IRA. How many? Well, somewhere in the ballpark of 3,000 shares, as she pretty much turned just 6.8k into $4.4 million by just holding. And on top of that, she was calling them on the phone to trade, so it was probably like $20 a trade back then, and that $20 would have been tens of thousands of dollars in additional stock. She also bought a ton of Apple between 2002 and 2007 and literally never sold because she was in a small investment club back then. Everyone had Windows laptops and she was the only one with a MacBook. They all kept complaining about viruses from all the their kids were downloading, so she kept pushing the club to dump into Apple and they never did. Her advice would be buy what you believe in, and although you could say it was just dumb luck, 99% of people would have sold if it went up 100%. You see, every once in a while there are some genuinely good posts on WallStreetBets, and a few traders choose to take a leap on them hoping to make some nice gains. One such trader goes by the name of Ricky Tiki, who is for a change thanking WallStreetBets from the bottom of his heart, because in the past week he's up by 115% or $112,000, bringing his account to $128,436.74. You see, he's not sure who originally wrote up an amazing post about buying put options on Salesforce and how and why. He read that person's whole post, then followed up and did his own digging and really fell in love with the play. He went forward with it for a huge gain. He then took that knowledge and momentum towards enterprise software and found MongoDM, and again even bigger score. He is just so grateful and amazed by what happened. He's a dad and expecting another baby boy on the way, so this will certainly help him massively. And there is another trader who jumped on the train of Salesforce puts. This one goes by the name of Dick Rich, and he turned just $160 into $10,000 with Salesforce puts overnight. On May the 29th, just 40 minutes before the market close, he bought 8 Salesforce puts with a strike price of $235 and just 19 cents. And with the stock dropping by 19% the next day as a result of bad earnings forecast, his puts jumped from 19 cents to $12.26. He immediately sold and promptly shorted 100 shares since he was certain now that the puts were sold, it was going to plummet much further. Now this This next trader who goes by Rega D apparently found his perfect strategy. In the past 3 months, he's up by 156% or $12,330, bringing his account to about $20,000. And what makes this gain so special is consistency. I mean, in the past 3 months he barely made a loss, and his chart looks like a perfect exponential chart. He got to that point by scalping SPY options every day since April the 30th, when he swapped to a cash-only account. He grew it from being down over 6.6k and has been blessed to have gone on such a crazy run this past month. Just imagine having only one day with a $280 loss since then while making $12,000. He bought and averaged down as much as 100 contracts a couple of times. The baseline is generally 10 to 20 contracts in a single trade, but sometimes he will accumulate more. The goal is to be in and out of these trades within 10 to 15 minutes or less. He never buys a bunch at once, but rather slowly accumulates within a couple of minutes, usually one at a time, and sometimes limiting in so he can get the cheaper contract on a dip, but that will change based on how volatile it is. He's scalping one day till expiry slightly out of the money or at the money options, and he'd say the best time to start the trade is at the open or a couple of minutes after open because of the volume and volatility. So he's getting in and accumulating as he moves against the direction of the market, where he predicts a change in direction will occur. Once that happens, he'll flip those contracts for a small margin once it moves back past his average. And last but not least, I present to you a trader who goes by name of Nvidia is my dog. Needless to say, he made his 132k gain on Nvidia. More specifically, he turned just $10,000 into $142,000 with shares of Nvidia, which he bought at about $14 a share. Initially, he spent 20k in 2016 to 2017 and already closed about half of his position a bit earlier for a $357,000 gain. He bought Nvidia shares because machine learning was picking up. He realized it would be important and that Nvidia was the leader. He just didn't know when or how it would look like and still doesn't. But that's why you hold and forget. And if you want to learn more about how Sarin 18's journey and his strategy, or see how this trader lost $100,000 and got into debt, click on the video just popped up. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.